If you're pushing for that pirate legend status or beyond, this tale is perfect for you, as I tested out every method of achieving Order of Souls reputation and came to this conclusion. You will also hear of something many people have been requesting me to do, and a huge tip on how not to waste all of your time. So for now, I am Captain Daddy, and join me as we collect some skulls amongst the Sea of Thieves. Awaking in a tavern, I had realised that I had been neglecting one particular faction, the Order of Souls, in which I have only ever done a couple of voyages for them when I was sailing with a friend who wanted to do exactly that, and today appeared to be the day of me trying out new things. I know many of you have asked me to look at the mermaid treasuries, so that's the first thing that I decided to check out, as I raised my anchor and began sailing through the fog, before finally reaching this strange glow coming from beneath the ocean. I swam down to find the source of this light, which eventually led me to a strange entry point at the bottom of the sea, which after entering, began to fill with water, and here I was expecting to drown. Waves of mermaids began to attack, and I now had to defend myself, as this room continued draining itself and refilling as I was fighting off more mermaids and some ocean crawlers. This carried on for about 10 minutes before eventually, the keeper of the treasury appeared, and now I had to take them on. With all of these tridents around, it makes these treasuries pretty fun and quick, as they work really well against any ocean critters. However, with one last blast, the keeper was down and a vault door behind me began to open. This room was filled with much treasure and strangely holding a chest of ancient tribute. However, I had been told that you can put your treasures into a mermaid statue in the room, and these would allow you to claim them once you are back on your ship. But pirates, please don't make the same mistake as me. After reaching almost level 3 emissary without getting anything on board my ship, I looked at the mermaid statue and it gave me an option to collect treasure, so I accepted this before going back to my ship. I know you are all raging already, but don't worry, so was I as I reached the surface aboard the Redbeard. My treasure was nowhere to be seen. I even swam back down to the treasury, but it was already too late. The door had been sealed again and it was now inactive, and my treasure was lost forever. To avoid the same mistake as me, do not collect treasure until you reach the surface, which you will see shortly as I headed to another treasury nearby. Before reaching my next destination, however, a skeleton sloop sailed by. However, within an instant, I had achieved my quickest sink ever as I sent these goons back to the depths and collected more treasure from them. Once reaching the next treasury, I dived down, now knowing what to expect and what to do once I had all of the treasure, and after a quick fight, this was another victory for me. I loaded everything into the mermaid statue before going back to my ship and seeing another mermaid waiting for me up top to give me my treasure. Finally, I saw it all rising to the top, and once it was all on board, I was just shy of emissary level 5, so you know I had to head to the nearest fortress to complete. However, I will say, treasuries might be my new favourite way of getting fast gold. Once completing the fortress and getting to level 5, I sailed back, selling one mermaid treasury, one skeleton sloop and one fortress worth of loot for just over 80,000 gold. That's without the first treasury's loot too. This was a really fast way of leveling up your emissary flag, also being easy, and if you didn't mess it up like I did, just 2 of these shrines and a little fortress loot or maybe even a skeleton sloop will get you straight to level 5. But anyway, once I had sold everything, I decided to take an emissary quest as I had done with the other factions. However, this time I learnt by people from the tavern that if you lower your emissary flag between missions, you will gain extra rep and be able to stack your emissary quests. So I lowered and raised again before heading out in search of many bountied skeleton captains. This had me going between many islands, taking down the many captains on them and claiming their skulls to hand in. And by the time every one of them was slain, I had reached level 5 once again, and this to me felt a good and quick way once again to level up this flag. Surprisingly too, killing these guys once I handed in everything to sell got me a nice 60,000 gold, which may not be as gold heavy, but it sure helps with gaining more rep towards the Order of Souls. If you've seen my previous tales in which I want to see what you can do in particular factions, you will know that I like to try everything out, so upon seeing a mission to defeat a ghost fleet, I knew I had to try this. Upon arriving between the many ships sailing around, I began firing, and to my surprise, this was really fun. Not only was I enjoying sailing around, taking out many of the ships in the process, but I was able to take more time to learn about aiming my cannons, and honestly, by the end of this I was feeling very confident in my naval abilities. Finally, after defeating waves of these vessels, the captain's ship sailed through, and I knew I had to take it down. After many cannons fired and some repairs later, I had defeated them, banishing this fleet and picking up some treasures which in total only netted me around 25,000 gold, which wasn't as much as I was hoping for. Despite the lack of gold for this though, it was a really fun challenge and I can see myself taking more of these on in the future. Finally, I saw an Ashen Winds in the distance, and I had always thought, considering you get an Ashen Winds skull which is 10,000 gold on its own, should net you a lot of rep for people that like you delivering skulls to them. So I headed in that direction and began fighting against this Ashen Lord. And I will say, it's been a little while since I've done one of these properly, and not being stomped on by a brig, so I will admit to enjoying myself here. However, after defeating him, it was time to load it all on board and see if this really was the best way to level up your Order of Souls. Selling it all, I received a little under 70,000 gold, which for one event is not bad at all, and the rep was good too. However, was it the best way to reach max level fast? I think this may be my most successful journey so far in terms of no hiccups other than forgetting my treasure and not running into one brigantine. But looking over everything I did, although Ashen Winds events are great for this, these are very high risk and attracts unneeded attention for what I'd say is a little extra rep than normal, plus they are not always around. Instead, being able to do 2 quick mermaid treasuries followed by a quick fortress or even just sinking a skeleton sloop, you can level up both your flag and reputation quickly before beginning your emissary quest as you lower and raise your flag for that little extra rep. Also, doing all of this is fun. Don't forget to enjoy yourself while doing all of this. It's not a race, but a journey, and you will get there in time. But for now, make sure you follow my Twitch and join my Discord if you haven't already. Links are in the description, and if you want to see more tales like this, be sure to check out my last adventure, where finding my first Legend of the Veil turned into something amazing. But I've been Captain Daddy, and until next time, arrgh!